I'm James Jones with Home Commercial Inspections. We're here on a property inspection. We're going to do the heating and cooling portion of the inspection. This particular home has a mini split and a regular split system, HVAC. So we're going to cover both. So we're walking over here to this mini split. It's a Bryant system. So we're looking at the liquid line and suction line going into the house. We want to look at the penetration, make sure that there's no openings or anything. Look at how it's fastened. Here we have the drip tube. So this is your drainage line for your indoor evaporator coil or your indoor air handler. It's a ductless system. This is your outside condensing unit. So this is considered to be a heat pump, but it's a mini split. So let's look at the sizing on it and the age. So this was built in 2016 and it's a 1-ton unit. And so let's just inspect the unit and see kind of what's going on with it. So on the outside of the condensing coil, there's a lot of debris on the back here. So if you take a look here, there's a lot of debris. There's a lot of stuff covering the coil. So it's gonna be hard for it to condense. So when we go inside, more than likely we may have some issues with it properly cooling because it's covered. So this really needs to be cleaned and serviced, okay? It's not that old, so you could probably service this unit because it has R410A refrigerant in it. So this is still a good unit, okay? So let's take a look at the other portion of the condensing system, the AC that's around the corner of the condensing unit that goes with the gas forced air furnace that's in the basement. And we'll take a look at that and then we'll head inside. So I'm inspecting the coil when I walk up to it. I want to make sure it's not like that other coil where it's covered, and it does have some of that covering. There's a lot of pollen in this area, a lot of trees dumping things. And so this coil and this fin has a lot of debris on it. So that's going to cause it not to be able to condense like the other unit. I believe both of these units are probably going to have a bad temperature differential. You always want to look at your penetration. We got some spray foam here, so that's going to allow for water to get into the house. We don't have a good penetration. Plus you're going through masonry, which is stucco. So you always want to have conduit. So we don't have any conduit here, so we're going to look at the age. This is a 2019. It's got R410A refrigerant in it, and it's a 3-ton condensing unit. So for this size of house, 3 tons would be about right, okay? So really not seeing much going on with it, but we're going to use our thermal camera in the inside to see if we're getting a good temperature differential and inspect the units. So this is the interior part of the unit. So outside we had the condensing unit. Well, this is your evaporator coil or your air handler, okay? So this is a mini split. Here's your control for the mini split. And so we've set this in cooling, and we've also set it to below the ambient temperature in the room. And so we set it to 68. And so we should have cooling, but remember I said all of that covering over top of the coil outside, all of that debris and dirt was gonna cause this unit to have a bad temperature differential or struggle. So we're gonna hold our thermal camera up here and adjust it. And we have 56 degrees and we're right up on it, okay? So this particular unit should be doing better than 56 degrees, all right? So we're gonna open it up and just take a look and make sure that there's no ice on the coil. On the evaporator coil, there's no dirt or anything of that nature, but we really need to get that debris off of the back side of the coils so that it can actually condense. So we're gonna open this up. And you look pretty clear in the inside here. So I would recommend cleaning out the evaporator drain pan in the inside. And I would recommend on this particular unit, because we should have at least 50 degrees on the inside. So we want to make sure that we get that debris off the backside of the coil. Now, since this isn't our home and this is home inspection, we're going to turn the unit off because we're complete with our inspection on the mini split. So covering the heating and cooling in this home, the bathroom upstairs and this sunroom have radiant heated floors. So the radiant heated floors have a control on the wall here. And this control, we want to set this above the ambient temperature in the room. So this thermostat is reading 82 degrees in this room. So we set the thermostat to 86 to put it in what you call a call for heat. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our thermal camera and we're gonna scan the floor to make sure that we don't have any breaks in the radiant heat. So you see your element. Your element goes through the floor and it doesn't appear to have any damage. So that's what you want to check for, to make sure you don't have any breaks. It would be a difference in the color palette if there was a break in the floor. And we would scan this floor. We'll do the same in the master bedroom, okay? So once you come in from outdoors, you're gonna come to the thermostat and you're gonna operate it and you're gonna put it in a call to cool, because I wanna understand whether or not your AC unit you're gonna get a good temperature differential. Is it functioning correctly? We're putting it in a cooling mode. The ambient temperature in the room is 74 degrees. And so we're gonna lower the temperature of the thermostat below 74 degrees. So let's head over here to this register. We've already went through the entire home, checked all the registers. I just wanna make sure that there's no loose ducts or a crunched or damaged ductwork somewhere. So each register needs to have a certain amount of airflow. Now, we're over top of this supply and it's only 57 degrees. So 57 degrees usually isn't a good temperature for supply air. So we need to check the return and do a measurement between the two to see if we at least have between 14 and 22 degrees. So let's head over here to our return to see if we can reach that medium of 14 to 22. So we have 70 degrees and climbing, 71 degrees, okay? So we had 57 degrees, 58 degrees over there. So that's not a good temperature differential. So that means we need to service the heating and cooling system, the split system in the home. At the gas forced air furnace, I put it in a call to heat. So the temperature in the room is 74 degrees. We've raised this up above 74 degrees so that your heating and cooling would engage. I want to look at whether or not we got a good temperature differential. Do we have any carbon monoxide in supply air? And then we're going to look at the return. So we have 132 degrees at the supply. We should have about 35 to 40 degrees as a temperature split in heating mode. I have 76 degrees. So we actually have a good temperature split in heating mode. So now I'm going to go back to my register and I'm gonna check to see if we have any carbon monoxide in the supply air. We got a good temperature differential, but we just wanna make sure that we don't have any issues with the heat exchanger on this system. And it appears that we don't. And this was turned on outside in the outdoor air so it can calibrate. So now let's head downstairs and let's look at the furnace to see whether or not we have any issues, anything in the actual furnace chamber that's a deficiency, or anything wrong with the evaporator coil on the inside of the system. So now we're down in the basement and we're looking at the last part of the heating and cooling system. This is your air handler. This is your gas forced air furnace. So here we have an issue with your furnace with condensation running down the side. So this is actually the evaporator coil is where this is coming from. So your evaporator pan, but you got some condensation here running and then you got some corrosion right here. So let's see if that's affected anything inside of your blower cabinet. So your furnace is gonna shut off, so we see that it's on, but once I open up this, the door switch is gonna engage it and shut it off for safety. And yes, that leak from the evaporator pan is actually condensation is running down the side of your furnace wall here on the outside and then running into the bottom of the furnace cabinet. So whatever that leak is, it's also causing a little microbial growth on the furnace filter. So that's how we know it is not an old leak. because you see here is microbial growth on the furnace filter. So we definitely are seeing a problem here. And then all of that corrosion down there in the base. So whatever that leak is, we definitely got to get it fixed. And it's also actually coming into the wall here. So we definitely got to get that fixed, okay? Other than that, we had a good temperature differential. We don't have anything going on with any other of your components inside. So your inducer fan doesn't look like it has any corrosion underneath it. There's no corrosion on your outlet of your inducer fan. Your gas valve has a little rust on it, your gas line, but that's just due to the elevated humidity in the basement. There doesn't look like there's anything got on the motherboard. The squirrel cage on the furnace looks okay. The coil gasket looks fine. There's no leak inside of the cabinet. So everything looks very good, and we put it in a call to heat. So it went through the 90-second sequence of checking all the safety features, your pressure switch, your limit switch, your flame sensor. It checked all of those different devices and it came on fine. We just have some kind of a condensation leak. So we're gonna document that, the age of all of your equipment, of your heating and cooling equipment, and we're gonna put that into the inspection report. And that way you're aware of when to do your service, when to change your filter, and so on. And that's the extent of looking at the heating and cooling systems in the home.